It is episode 30 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. I'm Evan Brown. That's James Price, host of TO Sports Talk. And first off, sorry for going ghost on you, I guess, for the last week. Been busy with everything in life, work, life, and whatnot. But we are back, and it's going to be a long one. It is going to be a long one.
It really is. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here for all three teams. First time in a while, it's been all three teams have been interesting to talk about. Obviously, with the Toronto Raptors, preseason's kicked off. We'll be talking about Media Day first, however, and of course, Kawhi Leonard with his first laugh in his first sentence as a Toronto Raptor. Is that a good sign or not? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the preseason Game 1 that happened yesterday and about what we look to see moving forward throughout the preseason.
And then switching over to the Leafs, we're going to be breaking down the preseason. Preseason has been wrapping up for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the 26-man roster has been announced today. So breaking that down, and also the William Nylander contract talk still going on. We're going to be talking about that.
And of course, for the Blue Jays, as of today, the season is finally over for the Toronto Blue Jays, may I add. And look, we'll talk about the positives, the negatives throughout the season, and what we should look forward to during the offseason, and the things to address moving forward. Yeah. But first things first, Toronto Raptors.
And what about that laugh?
That you know what? What a great laugh, an awkward laugh, but it was hilarious to see Kawhi Leonard answering the question from the reporter and then having no idea where the guy was, and just the way he said it and then his laugh after, it was perfect.
And then afterwards, the little wave, hey man, sorry. Right? So, no, it's great, but he seemed kind of out of place. It seems like it was kind of Masai, right? And he was kind of pushing for the fact that seeing Kawhi in a Raptors jersey is always going to be fun because us Raptor fans are always excited. But
we've never seen a player.
It seemed like he was kind of forced though. A little bit.
We've never seen a top 5 player on this team. You could argue Vince Carter at the time, but
Chris Bosh, right?
Top 5 though? Would you say that? That's a big number to get at. And Kawhi Leonard, my goodness. He's a special talent. That's
we knew that he was an awkward guy. Going into this, we knew he was an awkward guy, doesn't like the media, and it shows from this Media Day that he's just an awkward dude. He just loves being left alone, and I don't think he was the spotlight with the Spurs. And they didn't push him out to be in the spotlight with the Spurs. I don't think Greg Popovich was like, he kind of avoided the media in that sense, but in Toronto, I don't think you can avoid the media that much.
And I think he's going to be all right with that, because if we're hearing about him going to LA and everything, look, there's going to be more cameras in LA than there is here.
But the thing about LA is that you have LeBron, you have Kuzma, you have Ball, you have all of these star players. Yes, the camera's going to be on you, but not as...
You're Kawhi Leonard, I'm sorry. They would rather talk to Kawhi Leonard over Kuzma and Lonzo Ball, right?
Arguably.
LeBron, right, yes, everyone wants to talk to him at any point, but... Kawhi Leonard, guys, I think is just gonna. I don't know. I got this weird feeling about this whole situation, just because the way he was, the way he fired that awkward laugh. Do we expect him even to laugh at all? Period. No. And he did in his first sentence, whether it was awkward. I don't know if that's his actual laugh.
That is his actual laugh. You can tell.
Yikes.
I know. And
his first sentence is a Toronto Raptor. I know you really couldn't see the guy, but. It's very interesting to get his take on everything, and he said that he wants to be here. That's what he said in that thing.
Now, going back to the whole media thing, there's been times, mainly with the Leafs, about the media, with star players running them out of town.
Right.
Phil Kessel, Phaneuf, I wouldn't say Austin Matthews, but you can tell that sometimes the media gets on their nerves, right? So I don't want that to happen with Leonard. And I hope it doesn't, but we're not sure if it is. Because the media is going to be in his face a whole lot.
I'm just hoping he understands that the media is the media no matter where you go. So if you go to LA, you're going to get the same type of thing, if not worse.
Listen, if you go to the Orlando Magic, you're not going to have many reporters in your face, even if you're Kawhi Leonard.
Right, and they're not going to win. Period. Right now. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I don't know. That's why I have this weird feeling that the Toronto Raptors have this inside scoop of signing Kawhi Leonard. Now, I think it'll all tell how the season plays out, and how the fans continue to show him the love and all that stuff. But I think from the first preseason game onwards, it was very fun to watch in Game 1. Now, we'll continue with Media Day for a second. The big question coming in was, what was Kyle Lowry going to say? And I think that's something that we really wanted to hear about, because we haven't really heard much from him since that whole Media Day, or the NBA, or the U.S. development camp, or U.S. camp, or whatever it was.
U.S. camp, right.
Yeah. And he didn't seem, he was very angry. And rightfully so, DeMar was angry, so they're going to talk trash and all that kind of stuff.
Not even that. I think it was just such out of the blue what happened, and it's like, whoa, like that's kind of a shock.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they told Lowry, we're not going to trade DeRozan, we're not going to do this. They end up trading DeRozan. DeRozan's pissed. Lowry's pissed. The whole team's, kind of pissed off, right? So you can see where that's coming from. But with Kyle Lowry, he has to realize that he's 30 years of age. You can't be as fiery as you were when you're 23, 24.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to be mature.
And the thing, I got to give it to Kyle Lowry. I really do. Because some of the questions the reporters were asking, if I was Kyle, I'd be losing it at them. But as a veteran guy, just some of the questions along the lines of,
Oh, DeMar this, DeMar that.
Has your thoughts and feelings towards the organization and Masai Ujiri changed at all? What is he going to say? Yes?
Yeah.
If he does, he's going to be gone within a week.
Well, that's just the media, and
But he doesn't make any snark remarks. He doesn't make any stupid comments. He just says his thing. I'm out there to play some basketball. We have a really good team here. We're looking to win some games here and go for a championship. And he said that over and over again because the reporters, of course, are going to continue to ask the same question over and over and over to try and get an answer. But Kyle Lowry did a great job in my eyes in media day.
Right, and as an all-star player of his caliber, he's good at these types of avoiding questions like that, right? Because he's not going to throw people under the bus. He's not going to be like, answer the question about DeMar, and then DeMar gets whatever. They're still great friends.
Of course they are. They always will be. And that was the the first question they actually asked him, and he replied, it was kind of along the lines of, how are you and DeMar right now? And Kyle's like, you know what? Our friendship is more than just basketball.
Well, that's more of a personal thing. I don't know why the media is
off the court. They're best buddies as well. So that doesn't change anything.
No, it doesn't.
He said, I talked to him last night. I talked to him the day before and all that kind of stuff. So with Kyle Lowry, he went into media day, and I really didn't know what to expect. It was a 20-minute thing, and all I wanted to see was Kawhi Leonard, but I saw that, and I'm like, I'm very curious what he had to say. And he did a really, really veteran type of job with that media.
Kyle Lowry?
Lowry, yeah. It was amazing.
Right.
It was amazing how he talked to the media and avoided their stupid questions with some very smooth answers.
Yeah, and he definitely has a chip on his shoulder. For
sure.
So he has a fiery type of mentality now because he wants to prove. He doesn't want to prove the fan base wrong, but he wants to make it like, okay, I don't really need DeRozan anymore. I want this to be my team, which arguably it isn't. It's Kawhi Leonard's team.
It isn't. I mean, a lot of people say...
As a leadership, it's totally his team.
Yeah.
But
as player on the court...
As a skill-wise, it's Kawhi.
Agreed.
But leadership, I don't think Kawhi has any leadership.
But I don't think Kyle Lowry would have that issue because, DeMar was the face of the franchise when it comes to on-court, like, scoring buckets and stuff like that. But... as a player, as a person, as a dog, as a captain in a sense, Kyle Lowry was always the guy.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing here with Kawhi Leonard.
In the locker room, I don't think he's gonna be a problem, Kawhi.
No,
because he's like I said before, quiet guy, little awkward. He just likes to be left alone. So
from the media, we don't know how he is inside the locker room with the players, right? We don't really know how that all works.
I would think it would be roughly the same. Like you could just tell that.
I don't know. It's his teammates. You guys are around each other all the time.
There were some times when he was playing on the Spurs, right? And if a call went against him, and it shouldn't have gone against him, he wouldn't even argue. Popovich actually told Kawhi to be like, show some more emotion.
And actually, it was funny. The first foul of preseason I saw on Kawhi Leonard, and his arms were out like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So, emotion.
Maybe.
Different mindset.
Different team, different city, right? So, it's interesting now. With his game being played, he only played for, was it 20 minutes?
Or 19 minutes last game.
19 minutes, 12 points?
12 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound.
So, Raptor fans, that's a little taste of what's to come.
Now,
he looked great.
0-4 from 3, 3 of 8 from the field, 6 of 11 from
He's
the free throw line.
He's not looked at as a big three-point shooter. It's his mid-range elite jumper, and it's his defense. Oh, yeah. And
that's really
him driving to the basket too.
Everything really with Kawhi Leonard.
Great two-player
His
game.
3-point shot is not what he's known for, but he can still knock down his threes.
Right.
He still shoots 38%, which is pretty damn good for a guy who's not considered a good 3-point shooter. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So the starting lineup it wasn't Serge. It was JV at the center.
JV didn't start.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he didn't. He did not start the game. He came off the bench. I know that for a fact.
Really? Because maybe I was looking at. I was looking at the halftime, maybe
'cause
going into the...
Yeah, he did play the second quarter, but no, it was C.J. Miles, Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, Danny Green, and Kyle Lowry got the start. There's JV coming off the bench.
JV came off the bench, okay. So it was Serge, it was C.J. Miles, who else was it?
Kawhi Leonard, Danny
Kawhi
Green,
Leonard.
and Kyle Lowry. No, Danny Green didn't do all that great. 1 of 6 shooting on 1 of 5 from 3.
Preseason.
But the thing that I like to look at, and I love that the app that we always look at has this stat on there now, plus minus. Because it's a very different stat, right? We see points, we see
especially
rebounds,
for basketball.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, Leonard only shot 37%.
Yeah.
And yes, Danny Green only shot 16% on 1 of 6. Right. But Leonard was a plus 10, and Danny Green was a plus 14 on the floor.
So that just shows...
When they're on the floor, they were getting their job done.
You score points.
Exactly.
And then the other opposition
Miles
doesn't.
had 9, and he was 2 of 3 from 3. I mean, he was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He was a plus 8 on the floor. C.J. Miles was all right in his only 15 minutes. 9 points in 15 minutes. Ibaka wasn't great. Lowry with 15 points on 3 of 6 shooting, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from 3. But again, plus 10 on the floor.
And plus, I see Pascal Siakam there, 13 rebounds.
13 rebounds.
That's good, man.
And he looked like a gazelle out there. And we were talking.
He always looks like
we were talking about
gazelle.
that in the last podcast about how James Harden and all them were the bench mob was working out in L.A.
In LA?
Yeah, for the most part, with Harden and Westbrook and all those guys. And we were hearing constant praise towards Siakam and how he's looking. Look, that's great. I love hearing it from those type of players, but I want to see it. And I saw that in game 1.
Yeah.
The active glass, he's a big guy. He can grab the rebounds. Yes, I mean...
He's lengthy.
Exactly.
He's a lengthy guy. I think his wingspan's, 7'4", something like that?
He's long. He's very long. And he was very good in that game. Yeah, 3 of 10 shooting's not great. No of 3 from 3. But the ability to grab the 13 rebounds and have 3 assists as well as a big man...
Yeah.
Very good. JV, look, we're going to get used to saying this quite a bit, I think. Personally, I think the feeling that Nick Nurse is going to unleash Jonas Valanciunas. That's just my feeling. I don't know what it is. Having Dwayne Casey, because we've talked before.
I think he needed a change of scenery.
We've talked about Dwayne Casey sheltering him and
not going with the hot hand.
Exactly.
And,
when JV's red hot, you put him on the bench. Why? No, I think
it's just not with JV. That's with everybody.
Exactly. But Jonas Valanciunas got 17.7 rebounds on 4 of 8 shooting, 9 of 9 from the free throw line, 0 of 2 from 3, but plus 17 while he was on the floor.
Now he's looked at somebody that can shoot the 3.
As a big man, yeah.
As a big man.
I think you can look at that as...
Right, so then maybe Nick Nurse is going to exploit that with JV and be like, here, I'm giving you extra minutes. I'm giving you extra time here. I'm not sitting you down.
Spread the floor. Do it.
Right, exactly.
See what you can do.
Exactly.
Norman Powell only had 8 points and 3 rebounds in 20 minutes of work that game. And that's not big.
It's Norman Powell.
3 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, plus 12 on the floor.
If he
was active defensively, and that's what Norman Powell was really known for.
Listen, if Norman Powell can get his act back from 2 seasons ago in the playoffs, dynamite. Listen, he has to bounce back from a terrible year last year.
Yeah.
Because it was a terrible year.
It was inconsistent playing time, as well as when he was playing, he wasn't great.
And plus, he was chucking up threes when there was guys all in his face. That was a huge issue with Norman Powell.
And I think the difference between this year and last year is that, or at least from what I saw in game 1, he looked calm. He looked just relaxed. Mm-hmm. He didn't look like he was trying to force everything like last year where he was trying to force every tough shot like you just said. He looked calm and confident in that game.
It's one game.
Right, it's one preseason game. I understand
But against Portland, and Portland didn't sit any of their starters.
Lillard and McCollum both played, so if you want to look at it that way. Van Vliet had 11. Lorenzo Brown had 10 in this one on 4 of 6 shooting and 2 of 2 from 3. Another guard depth for the Toronto Raptors having him. Greg Monroe, in 12 minutes, 8 points, 5 boards.
Me and you talked about this, and he can be a big impact for this team.
He really can. He's
big
a strong
impact.
guy that will really do wonders for this team.
Great signing.
And what was I going to say?
He's a backup center, power forward.
He's probably going to be the backup center to JV, which I think would be
Jakob Poeltl obviously leaving.
Right,
San
with
Antonio.
Poeltl, he couldn't shoot free throws for his life. He had a really
young,
big problem.
and that's the issue. That's obviously going to improve.
Yeah,
right.
But in that game, he had 8 points. Right? Did Greg Monroe? 6 of them were at the free throw line.
I mean, is that a good or bad thing?
He got to the free throw line 7 times, or 7 attempts, and he got 6 of them.
That's true.
For a big man and a guy who can shoot the free throws, you
always
can't
go
wrong with that.
Yeah, it's always good.
Plus a guy who can pulverize guys in the paint, as we've seen.
He's big
in the past. Oh, he's a huge guy.
He's massive.
Big
so
man.
I guess the next preseason game for the Raptors is going to be
Tuesday against Utah. In Utah, 9:00 tip-off.
Oh, so that's going to be a good test with
Donovan Mitchell and I think Grayson Allen, the newest addition, Dante Exum, Joe Ingles, the man. Anybody else?
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw
Rubio.
Grayson Allen do some things, maybe.
Oh yeah,
maybe
he's
chip
a
away.
dirty little player.
Yeah,
but I mean,
he is.
I don't know if that'll transfer into the NBA game too.
I think it will, just
because it's who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Darren Favors,
coming out of
Jay Crowder.
was it Duke?
I think it was. Hold on, let me
I think
check
it
here
was
on
Duke.
Grayson
I'm
Allen. I'm pretty sure it was out of Duke. Yeah, out of Duke.
Okay.
22 years old, 6'5".
Fiery type of player. So with the Raptors, guys, like we say with the Leafs, it's preseason, but it's a great appetizer. Especially Kawhi Leonard looks good in the Raptors red. Let me tell you.
And what I noticed, we know Kawhi Leonard doesn't talk much off the court, but you see him on the court. He's talking. He's working with the guys. He's trying to work.
He wants to succeed with this team. Listen, he wants to get a max deal no matter what, with the Raptors or with any team. He wants to play his heart out this season.
And rightfully so. I mean, because he wants to get that max deal, and no matter where he goes, he will get it.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
Right? So he wants to run the offense, and we're going to run the offense through him.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry is the point guard. I get it. I mean, he's calling out the plays, but I'm sorry. Kawhi Leonard is your
he's the driving
franchise/future guy.
Yeah.
So
that's really what you want to see from that. But if you had to look at game one as kind of like what did we see? What were the positives? Well, the chemistry didn't look too bad. The bench mob still got it.
Yeah.
At least it's a preseason game, I understand. But if you're going off of that one game alone, they look good.
I think, like I said before, it's mainly just with Lowry, because you run the offense through your point guard usually.
Yep.
And with Lowry being, like I said, getting a little fiery with a chip on his shoulder because DeMar left, you have to have chemistry with Lowry. Kawhi needs to have chemistry with Lowry to make it work.
Oh, yeah, those two are...
I didn't see them really at all with a lot of chemistry in that game, to be honest with you.
Like, there was that one play that got called back. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was a nifty little play. It was,
if you want, you can just look it up there.
Yeah.
But there was times where Lowry had the ball and Kawhi was kind of giving him pass it to me, and Kyle was looking around. So it's but again, guys, one preseason game, we won, didn't we win?
Yeah, 102-94 or 122 to 104.
And in this team, you're looking at to be a potential third, second in the Eastern Conference.
Here it is. There's the play right here. So there's Lowry, bounce pass, Leonard to Lowry, back to Kawhi.
But that could have been stolen. That was the second pass by Kawhi, because if you look at that back, sorry.
Right, but I mean, it's a little sample size, and they were talking after the play. If you want to get a look at that, and this is the Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
See you later.
That.
Oh, baby.
Actually, there was another one where he kind of pump faked it, and then the guy jumped, and then he just so
beautiful.
Great mid range, elite mid range 3-pointer. He wasn't known for really being a big 3-point guy. I mean, he can shoot it.
Yeah,
but. And like I said, first game. And plus, this is Kawhi's first game in a year and a half? Or about a year?
Almost a full year. Well, I think he played a game in January or something like that, but he didn't last long.
No. So
yeah, it was a very, very short stint in the NBA last year for him. And a very good start into a very young preseason for Kawhi Leonard.
Yes.
Made 19 minutes, 12 points, 3 assists.
Love it.
Come on.
Hopefully
Can we be any happier than that?
Hopefully we can keep rolling against the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, it's another test, but I mean, you can't look at wins and losses. You just look at how individuals...
How many preseason games do we have?
I'm going to look that up right now, because I know we play Cleveland on the 17th of October to open up the season.
Right, so maybe
home.
It's 4 or 5?
Well, the Leafs had 8, if you're trying to compare it to that.
That's obnoxious, and me and you are going to be talking about that later.
There's only 4. They play Utah in Utah. Then they go an entire week without anything, and then they play Brooklyn at home,
and New Orleans.
Then New Orleans at home, and then 6 days, and then you start the next one. So they really could slot in a couple more games in there. I think the Raptors play Melbourne, Australia, or an Australian team somewhere in
And that's
here.
where Joe Ingles comes from.
Yeah,
Joe Ingles,
true.
the man, and he's on Utah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I'm just trying to see. I don't know when that is, actually.
Maybe
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, look that up. But no, and this game was being played in the Rogers Arena.
Yeah,
in Vancouver. Great atmosphere, obviously all Raptor fans.
The Canucks Arena, right?
Right.
Oh, the one thing I wanted to talk about, and I totally forgot. I was going to say it right off the top, but I forgot.
Okay.
The one thing I loved about Raptor fans in that game, at least for the first 5-6 minutes, every time Kawhi Leonard touched the ball, lots of cheers.
Oh, that's what you expect.
Every time he touched the ball.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what you expect. And plus, maybe he's thinking to myself, wow, maybe I can really be the franchise guy here and the best Toronto Raptor ever. If you stay here long term, you can be it.
Yeah.
I mean, the bar's not really set that high.
No,
DeMar DeRozan
is the top.
And you can argue it's really, come on.
Yeah, him and Vince Carter are the top 2 guys in Raptors, or in most categories. Those are those 2. And then
the Utah Jazz has a better franchise guy, and who is that? The mailman. We got Karl Malone, John Stockton. So,
yeah.
that's that. But no, Raptor fans, we're excited. You're excited, and
very pumped. I'm so excited to get this going.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna be moving on to the ice, the Leafs.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
First things first, we forgot to talk about this last podcast, the Erik Karlsson
Yeah,
trade.
I can't believe we forgot about that thing.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up.
Erik Karlsson, as you all know, we're probably the last ones to report it, but we're gonna do it anyways. Erik Karlsson has been traded to the San Jose Sharks. It was Erik Karlsson and I think it was somebody else. I think a minor leaguer.
Yeah, it was a minor league. I'm trying to find it here.
To the San Jose Sharks for, I think it was Chris Turney, a first. Yeah, if you can
I'm
look.
trying to find it here. No, wait, there it is. Here it is. So it was Erik Karlsson and Francis Perron,
Which is a minor leaguer.
to the San Jose Sharks for Chris Tierney, Dylan DeMello, Josh Norris, who is a highly touted young prospect, Rudolf Balcers. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
2019 or 2020 first round pick. Obviously, there's a condition on that. 2019 second round pick, conditioned. And then a conditional 2021 pick and a conditional first round pick.
So,
a lot of conditions on
So
these
let's talk
picks.
about this trade. It's amazing to me that the Sens didn't get one of who's that prospect? They drafted him 2014.
14. Oh, is he on the team now?
Yeah. Oh, it's what's his name start with?
He's on the team right now.
Sorry, I'm kind of having a blank.
He's on the team now.
I already said yes.
Okay, we're trying to make sure. Just gotta hammer it home a few times.
Right. But anyways, I'm surprised because really those prospects that were involved in the trade aren't really blue chip.
No, they really aren't. I mean, Josh Norris is fairly good, but other than that,
Is he real blue chip? I don't think he's a blue chip prospect.
Timo Meyer.
Timo Meyer, thank you. They didn't give up
Meyer,
Timo Meyer, Thomas Hurdle, or Ryan Merkley.
Yeah.
They didn't give any of those guys up for Erik Karlsson. Great move by, I think it's who's the GM? Wilson, Doug Wilson? Doug Wilson.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Great trade for him, knowing that you didn't have to give up any prospects. And the Ottawa Senators, I mean, it's a good thing you got something for Karlsson, but in my opinion, I mean, you don't have your first round pick next year, or this year rather. You're going to be a worse team. You're not going to get Hoffman's gone.
Right.
Karlsson's gone. You're not going to get Stone back long term.
No, he's not going to go back after this season.
Bobby Ryan's washed out. Craig Anderson's gone. You have no goalie. You have no defense. Who's their prospects?
They don't.
You got Brady Tkachuk. All right, he's a good player.
You could arguably say Thomas Chabot.
Is he really a prospect anymore?
He was on the team for most of last year, so you could really say he's not.
So not a prospect. And who was it? Was it who was our farm team? Belleville Senators?
Yeah, it is.
They were terrible.
Yeah.
They were terrible.
Tells
So
you right there how it goes. I mean, you build a good farm system, you get a good team. Ask the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ask the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ask any of these good teams now. They go through those tough times.
yeah, but I don't think the Leafs ever went through this tough time.
No.
Like, yes, we traded Phil Kessel, but at that point in time...
At that point when the Leafs started unloading guys, they went after Mitch Marner, and they already had William Nylander.
Exactly. No, well, sorry.
They already had Riley.
No,
they already had Nylander.
Wait, they had both. They had Marner and they had Nylander.
They started tanking and got Babcock that summer. So it was kind of like all at once. You got Marner and then Babcock.
No, but I'm talking about Kessel. When we traded Kessel, we already had Mitch in the system because we just drafted him. Yes, we did. Because we traded Kessel July. It was just after free agency.
I think it was the year before.
No, it wasn't.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure. We traded him in 2015.
Okay.
And then, so we had Mitch in the system, Nylander in the system, which are two blue chip prospects.
Mitch only played 1 year in the minor leagues.
We drafted Mitch Marner in 2015.
I think it was the 2016 draft.
No, that was Matthews.
And then 17 was Layla Green, and then this was 17.
Yes. Okay, so we had Mitch in the system, blue chip, which we know now.
Yep.
Nylander, blue chip, which we know now. Do the Ottawa Senators have someone besides Brady Tkachuk? Yes, he's going to be a great player for this team. Do they really have anybody else?
No.
And the Leafs had Morgan Riley.
They already had Riley. They already had Mitch Marner. They already had William Nylander. They already had Nazem Kadri.
Yes, the goalie. We didn't have Freddie Anderson at that point.
But you traded that pick you got for that Phil Kessel deal. You got rid of that first round pick to Anaheim for Freddie Anderson.
Exactly. So, I mean, with the Ottawa Senators, I get you had to get something for him.
Look. I look at Ottawa. Do you have a top 2 defenseman? Or do you even have a top 4?
Top 4, yeah, because I do think that Chabot can be a top 4.
Okay, so there's one top 4 defenseman.
Right.
Who's your first line future wise?
Kachuk.
And then what?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe Josh Norris. I don't even really know him all that much. But
Josh Norris. I mean, that's the thing. You have Mark Stone now. We don't know if he's coming back or not.
I don't know. I don't think so. That's my opinion.
But we don't really know.
I guess
Exactly.
Right now.
I can't even think of a first line. I'm just blown that the Ottawa Senators, and I think this cannot be the best offer for Karlsson. The Ottawa Senators said, we're not trading into an Eastern Conference team.
I just don't think that they wanted to move him at the deadline, and they didn't want to wait until the season started to screw things up.
But I'm sorry. But the Ottawa Senators not trading him to an Eastern Conference team? Why not?
You're not going to be any good.
Exactly.
That's why the Leafs traded Phil Kessel to Pittsburgh.
Because they knew that we're not going to contend with Pittsburgh in about 2-3 years, or maybe even 4.
And we're all over that Phil Kessel trade now because the Leafs are good.
And they are going to get over this trade for sure.
It'll happen. It'll happen over time.
But for right now, it does not look good.
When you're winning, you forget about the old stuff.
And what really boggles my mind, they don't have picks. They don't have their first rounder.
Yeah, that's why it is very, very tough when you trade first round
exactly,
picks.
And for it to be lottery protected. I get you got Duchesne back then. You thought it was going to be nice.
Didn't work. You got rid of Duchesne for I'm sorry. You got rid of Kyle Turris for what?
You got rid of Kyle Turris for it was a 3-team trade. It was kind of weird.
Was Duchesne in the trade, right?
Well, yeah, but
it was basically Turris for Duchesne, basically.
And a first. A first and Kyle Turris for Duchesne.
And Kyle Turris and the chemistry with that team?
He didn't look good in the playoffs, but he's looked at as a second-line center.
But he was amazing.
With Matt Duchesne.
With Stone.
And that,
he was amazing with Karlsson and all that.
They were doing pretty well with Kyle Turris.
They made it to the conference finals. And then they have a tough start to the year. They're like, we're going to trade him for Duchesne.
They didn't really have a tough start. I think they were doing fine because they traded him in, November? They were doing fine, I think. They weren't really... I think they were, maybe a 500 team? Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
Dorian's made a lot of questionable moves.
And, of course, their owner, Eugene Melnyk, doesn't help either.
No, it really doesn't.
Did you see that video of... who was it? It was... I think it was Mark Borowiecki. And...
any video of Mark Borowiecki is funny, but anyways.
They had, some sort of
it was a really
interview.
awkward conversation. Yeah, I remember that one.
It was an awkward conversation. Why even have Mark Borowiecki there? Like what was the reason why? Why couldn't they have an actual interviewer? Why have someone on the Senators? That's my question.
I don't know. Anything Ottawa related right now is shambles. You look at the Montreal Canadiens, they got Kotkaniemi, who's looked very good in preseason, but that can arguably change at any point in time. But
we don't know.
Very young guy, looks good. That's a center right there for them. That's what they need.
They have future, and I don't know if the Ottawa Senators really
have
future.
Other than Kotkaniemi, I'm not sure what else they have.
Well, they have a stepping point. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you can't
agreed.
arguably, you can't really build around a winger.
But they don't have
Brady
a defense
Tkachuk.
They still don't have a defense
Okay, but we're talking about Ottawa now.
Right, we're talking about still Ottawa. Yeah.
So you cannot build around a winger.
Right. The Leafs tried that for years.
With Phil Kessel. Didn't help.
Didn't work.
Right?
You get an Austin Matthews, we're like, you know what? We never had a center for so many years. Let's go out there and get 3. Tavares, Matthews, Kadri. All possible first-line centers. You could on a not-so-great team, Kadri could play the first line. He's a good...
Definitely Matthews
and Tavares. He was a 30-goal scorer last year.
Definitely Matthews and Tavares.
Exactly. You have 3 possible first-line centers on your team after not having one for years.
And having Bozak as your first-line center, that didn't really work out.
Yeah.
So with this trade, what would you grade it?
For what team? For the Senators?
Ottawa. For Ottawa.
For the Senators, C+.
Yeah, I'm going to say that too. Again, they got a boatload of prospects.
Exactly.
They got 2 roster players in Chris
and
Tierney.
A lot of conditional picks. That could be
Dylan DeMello.
Right.
And they got a lot of conditional picks, and they got something back for him, but I'm sorry. Why didn't you get Ryan Merkley, Thomas Hertl, or Timo Meier?
They must have felt desperate to move him, and I don't know why they felt so desperate right away.
The Eastern Conference team had to have had a better offer.
Yeah.
So
because you know how crazy the Atlantic Division is with the Leafs, the Bruins, and
I guarantee you Tampa had a better offer than
probably.
That. So
they have more firepower as their young players. Very interesting. But let's get back to the Leafs.
Yep.
We missed that last week, so that's why we had to clarify that. Preseason done.
Come and gone.
This Wednesday,
7 o'clock or 7:30.
7 o'clock puck drop at the Scotiabank Arena. Leafs and Habs, Game 1 of 82.
Ooh. We're ready. I hope you guys are ready. Opening night roster, the 26-man roster is available. If you just want to go,
I'm just gonna find it right here.
Right. No surprises. Actively shopping. Who was it in? Connor Carrick.
So first off, we can talk about the roster cuts and who did not make the team and who got sent down.
Let's talk about the actual.
You want to talk about that first,
right? Because we're already going into it here.
Okay, let me find that right here for you.
It's on the Twitter.
I know, but I have it here too.
Okay.
Let me just find the. Oh my God, of course, I go to. Oh, that's it there. Hang on, there it is. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
So you got Connor Brown, Tyler Ennis, Frederick Gauthier, Zach Hyman, Andreas Janssen, Nazem Kadri, Kasperi Kapanen, Josh Levo, Par Lindholm, Patty Marleau, Marner, Tavares, Matthews. And the remaining D and goalies, Connor Carrick, Travis Dermott, Gardner, Hainsey, Justin Hall, Martin Marincin, Ozhiganov, Riley, Zaitsev, Picard, McElhaney, and Sparks.
So just going back to the forwards here. Surprised with Frederick Gauthier. Only played one game.
Yeah.
Only played one game. Didn't look good at all, obviously.
He two in preseason.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Both against Detroit.
Right. Slow guy, not good hands. He could be up in the press box, I'm guessing. I mean,
as a depth center.
As a depth center, maybe.
If anything,
Par Lindholm looked good, though.
I'm kind of shocked that they picked Gauthier over Trevor Moore in my eyes, but I mean, you never really know. I thought that was a little bit
over
of
Chris Mueller, arguably.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, Frederick Gauthier. Well, it clearly, but I mean, he's a big center.
He's slow.
I know.
I don't like Frederick Gauthier.
I don't either.
And then you got Par
Lindholm's gonna be great.
Or
I love
Pear.
It's Par to me. I don't care until I get told otherwise. It's Par Lindholm to me.
He looked good. He scored a goal against Detroit,
I mean,
short side.
It was a greasy goal. It should never have gone in. It should have never gone in. It was a terrible angle. But, I mean, puck's in the back of the net.
He scored.
It was a shorty. So there you go.
Josh Levo making the team.
Probably going to get traded. He's actively getting shopped with Connor
is he
Carrick.
actively getting shopped? Because he had a great camp. Losh Levo impressed me in the preseason. Let me tell you,
he was great in the last game, but I don't think he was any good in any of the other games.
Yeah.
Any more surprises? You know, in the forward group?
Well, it'd be nice if I see that.
I don't
list
think
there
was any.
There we go.
I don't think there was any more in the forward group that was really surprising whatsoever. I mean,
you could see once we get the contract done with who, you could see.
I think that's maybe why they're trying to move Josh Levo.
And listen, Tyler Ennis, guys, he's not going to be sent down to the Marlies. He's going to get every opportunity to play with this team.
Now, do you think that this team is possibly close to getting Nylander signed? Just for this, just hear me out.
No.
Hear me out. They put Gauthier and Levo on there. This is just for right now. Yeah. It'll change opening night because 26 guys, that's too many. Yeah. Think about it. You have 12 forwards.
Yeah, I know.
6D, that's 18, and then 2 goalies. It's only 20.
So
there's 6 guys in the press box? No. Yeah. So there's going to be guys cut.
Lou's done like 3 or 4 at one point.
Right, but not 6. Well. So, in my eyes, at some point, Freddie Gauthier will be sent down. Josh Levo, we're hearing he is actively getting shopped to possibly make room for a William Nylander signing sometime shortly.
I don't think it's going to happen. I would like it to be happening. We haven't heard anything.
I'm trying to grab at straws right now.
Okay,
I'm really trying to grab at straws.
No, same thing with me. But we as fans and as media have not heard anything that it's even going to be close.
We've heard they both want long-term deals, but that's it. That's all we've really heard.
The money is still. He wants 8. We want him for 6.
6.5 in that range.
They're not budging. His agent and his father, they're not budging.
Yep.
So it's very interesting.
We'll get into the Nylander contracts a little bit later.
Now going to the defense.
Well, obviously here Connor Carrick is possibly getting
Travis Dermott had an injury. I know he played.
He'll be back though. I think he'll be back for. He played in the final game with Detroit in the final game there.
If I were him, it's a shoulder injury. I get it, but I don't know.
You still have 4 days rest. Remember, they played Saturday. You have Sunday off.
True,
Monday off,
but
Tuesday
shoulder
off.
injury. That's
we don't know.
You don't want to
It could have just been a little bit sore. I don't know.
No, true, but
we don't know.
At that point, you kind of want to play it safe.
Gardner, Hainsey, Justin Hall,
Martin Marincin.
And Martin Marincin is one I'm shocked about. That guy is terrible. I'm sorry. I don't care if Mike Babcock likes him or not. He is terrible.
Okay, now to be fair to him, he played with, I think it was Timothy on the Marlies. He was great. He was great on the Marlies.
In the Marlies. We've seen this before. Good in the Marlies, not good in the NHL. Connor Carrick's a great example.
I think for him, he just gets nervous with the puck.
Yeah, and that's not what you want on a Stanley Cup contending team.
Maybe play him in a sheltered role, maybe on the PK with his long stick.
Well, then who are you getting rid of? That's a left-handed defenseman right there.
you can swap him out. Like, I'm just saying, maybe him and Ojiganov you can split.
Those are right-handed and left. Like
you can't really look at the right and left, especially on the PK. It doesn't really matter that much.
Know.
5-on-5, right and left. Okay, I can understand.
I prefer a Justin Hall or even a Connor Carrick.
I'm just thinking Martin Marincin because he looks so good at the AHL level. He looks so good.
So did Connor Carrick. So did Justin Hall.
Well, no, but I'm talking about defensively.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. All three guys look good in the AHL.
Personally, I think he needs more of a shot.
He got that whole year. Remember that 1 year? Right. The terrible season? He played the entire year.
Coming off of a Calder Cup run, maybe didn't look that great in the preseason. I get it, but having him in a sheltered role with that long stick, he's fairly good defensively.
I don't like him.
But breaking the puck out, I know he's terrible at puck handling.
His brain is not there.
No, well, I mean...
And you can't have...
obviously, he's still up for a reason. Yes, I can see him being sent down, but for right now, I don't mind him up.
I don't like him up here. Bottom line. That's straight up.
Okay, that's fine.
Ozhiganov, Riley, Zaitsev, Anderson, Picard, and Sparks are still up here.
Now, question for you. The reason why we have all these players up here is that if we send them down, they go through waivers.
Right.
So that's with Marincin. That's with some of the forwards here. I'm guessing Freddie Gauthier. Yeah, I would.
I'm going to guess that too.
Freddie Gauthier. I'm just thinking of any Par Limholm, obviously. Josh Levo.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're trying to move these guys so you don't have to test them on waivers like a Connor Carrick or Josh Levo, who would probably get picked up.
At this point, every roster's full, so I think you can sneak a couple through waivers because right now,
you want to test that.
Everybody's. I think we're going to have to at one point. Listen. If you can get not really Josh Levo, but if you can get somebody down, like, for example, if you can get Connor Carrick down to the Marlies and see him through waivers, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't really see what the Marlies does for Connor Carrick.
No, it does nothing for him, but you would want to still have him. Maybe you can bring him up and then being sent down again.
We don't know what our depth chart when it comes to how they feel. They could have Ozhiganov number 1 and Hall behind him. Yeah. Connor Carrick might not even be close.
He didn't have a good camp at all. Are you a little surprised about Rosen and Borgman?
I didn't really like Rosen.
Rosen had a terrible pass. I think this was in the last game. He had a great start of his camp, but at the end, he just kind of trailed off. Yeah. Borgman, I never really liked him. I always kind of liked Rosen, but...
they were both really not so great. That's why they're gone.
Yeah. Even Justin Hull at some points was a little
Yeah, but I think Ozhiganov for the most part looked pretty stable.
Right, he was good.
But moving forward, I'm not too sure. And obviously, Picard and Garrett Sparks. Who do you think's your backup goalie?
McElhaney didn't play good, but he didn't really have the Leafs team around him in that last preseason game. I'm still going to have to go with McElhaney.
So am I. No problem. No question about it.
Now,
if you guys watch the videos, you'll know that my feelings towards
Sparks or Picard, because I think Picard over Sparks. Sparks, I just don't feel comfortable with
Picard has the NHL experience, and I think that's what I like from Calvin Picard. Sparks, I don't know.
Every time when he's brought up, he hasn't really shown anything.
You know why? And I want to say something. I don't know if I've said it before. I probably have. Yeah. With Curtis McElhaney, he is so fundamentally sound. He is so in position almost all the time. And if he has to make a desperation save, he's usually in position to make that save. But with Garrett Sparks, he's always flopping around like crazy.
Yeah.
And
his rebound control isn't good.
That might be okay.
Yeah.
But it comes to the NHL when players are better, that can't work.
Listen, I see Garrett Sparks as a guy that could slip through waivers, my opinion. Like I said before, anytime he's been brought up to the Leafs, he hasn't performed.
No.
He
other than that first game against Edmonton where he shut them out.
Right.
Other than that.
But he hasn't looked good in preseason. I don't think he's looked good at all.
No.
I don't even think Calvin Picard... No, he
played a bit, and he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad
McElhaney played really good except for that one game. But other than that, he played great in the preseason.
Yeah.
So I think you can try to get something. I mean, if you can send both those guys down, maybe one of them passes. But it's definitely going to be interesting. But I'm going to go with McElhaney as my backup.
So there's been some other things that have happened here. The Maple Leafs have loaned players Andreas Borgman, Jeremy Bracco, Adam Brooks, Emerson Clark, Rich Clune, Pierre Engvall, Colin Green and Carl Grunstrom, Timothy Liljegren, Mason Marchment, Trevor Moore, Kalle Rosen, and Dmitro Timashov, all to the Toronto Marlies.
So, our boy, Emerson Clark.
Yeah, he got sent down to the Marlies.
So he didn't get signed. Or no, he got signed, I guess.
I guess so. So an NHL deal or something. Good for him. I liked him. I really liked what I saw from him in the preseason.
Again, he's just kind of a Rich Clune, type of player. But still, you kind of need that.
He plays hard. Yeah, and that's what you want to see from a guy like that. Also, guys that have been placed on waivers: Adam Cracknell, Josh Joris, Vincent Laverde, Chris Mueller, and Jordan Subban.
You kind of shocked that Josh Joris didn't get the spot over Frederick Gauthier? Josh Joris, I mean, yeah.
When I didn't think about it, yeah.
With the NHL experience, both of them didn't really have good camps, but for the NHL experience, I'd pick Josh Joris, man. Just have him in the press box.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that. That's a very good analysis.
Again, like I say, really even Chris Mueller.
Yeah, over Freddie Gauthier, who, I don't know, didn't really look good. I mean, he played 2 games. It's kind of hard to get a gist of that, but he played 2 games, and you obviously saw more of Josh Joris than Freddie Gauthier, and he went down, and Gauthier didn't. It's very interesting.
I don't think these guys are going to get claimed because, like I said before, no one gets claimed at this time.
Especially when guys are like the names I just read.
The only people maybe would be
Jordan Subban. Maybe.
Other than that, nobody.
Jordan Subban's 23 years old. I think that's the only reason why he would get claimed.
And he's a right-handed defenseman.
Right.
And he's kind of speedy, puck-moving guy.
Last thing, not a big thing, though, the Marlies. So the Marlies have assigned defenseman Sean Dursey and Mac Hollowell to their OHL teams. Right. So Sean Dursey is not going to be playing with the Toronto Marlies this year. He is going back to the OHL.
I don't know if...
I thought he was going to play with the Marlies.
So he could have played in the Marlies.
I guess so.
Because he's 20.
Right. So he's going to be going back as an overager to, I think it was Owen Sound or something.
Interesting. Are you surprised about Rasmus Sandin not going over to Sweden yet?
No.
Because we heard before that...
He was going to go. We thought that's what was
right,
that was
but he's on the roster for the Marlies.
Yep.
So I think that's
quite interesting. I didn't expect that really whatsoever.
Because he would be playing with men in Sweden, but he would have to adjust to the big ice again. Because listen, guys, he started with Rogel, then he went to the Sioux, and now you want him back to Rogel? That might kind of be For North American ice, I think you keep him in the Marlies. That'd be nice.
So according to David Pegnotta, the Maple Leafs are looking to move Josh Levo, Garrett Sparks, and Connor Carrick. So clearly... they have more faith, and they want Calvin Pickard instead.
That sucks for Levo, man, because honestly, he had a great camp. He looks like he tries so hard to make the team. It's just a matter of numbers. I mean, listen, if he was a center, it'd be completely different.
The funny thing is, a lot of people when players get traded, you want to see them do well, but you kind of don't in a sense because you don't want them to come back and hurt you. Josh Levo, I want to see do well.
Even if he comes... No, listen. If he scores the overtime goal Game 7 against the Carolina Hurricanes... with Carolina Hurricanes, let's just say, to beat the Leafs.
All right, well, I mean as like a player as a whole. I want to see him succeed because he has fought hard with this team for a long time. And for him to get an actual shot and play well, I want to see him.
And he's not a scrub. He can possibly be a third-line guy for a team.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. Again, I don't think second, but a third-line guy, right?
I don't know. I'm really excited though to get this thing going. It's Wednesday, 3 days away from puck drop. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Do you think that we're gonna be okay? So let's just say, when do you think Kyle Dubas is gonna make his first trade?
Trade.
Yes.
I think he'll want to do it before the season gets going. So if that's the case, then it's got to be very soon.
I don't know if he's going to end up trading these guys because, listen, everybody's full. The rosters are full right now.
Yeah, you're trying to shop guys. You want to see what's out there. Will you actually trade them? I don't think so.
So when do you think, is it going to be a big or a small move?
Oh, it would be a small one. I can't see a big move making. Bottom line, I cannot see William Nylander being traded, if that's what people are trying to ask.
Well, again, Carolina Hurricanes were asking.
Good for them.
And
Kyle Dubas continues to
They just hung up the phone.
Yeah.
Listen, he's listening to offers. We can listen to offers about
really?
John Tavares. Yes, of course he is. You'd be stupid not to listen to any offers. But listen.
Yeah, he'll listen to them, but I think it's a quick no.
Oh, exactly. Like, listen, I would say, hey, that John Tavares kid, he looks pretty good. I'll offer you, I don't know, I want to say Adam Cracknell, but he's on the Leafs. Paul Byron.
Okay, cool.
Hang up the phone. He's listening. And I wouldn't... Listen, as a GM, that's his job to listen to offers.
Of course. Absolutely it is.
So, and with him not being signed, teams are calling me like, hey, what's going on here? We can sign him. We have the cap room to give him $8 million. Like, we'll give you a first, a second, a third, whatever. But Kyle Dubas is staying strong, and he's hanging up the phone. And I think that's what he needs to do.
He does, but he also needs to get him signed, too. So we don't really know where this is at all.
Do you think he's going to get signed before the Habs game? No. Before the regular season?
I'd like to see it, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, now guys, listen, this has happened with many other star players. PK Subban went through this thing. Johnny Gaudreau.
Same agent. as William Nylander.
Yeah.
So put into perspective.
I think because they had a list about players that held out and then they missed a couple of games. I think PK missed about 10 games.
Yeah. And I did not want William Nylander to miss, like you said, 10 games.
But with this team going forward, we can afford it for the first half
this team is that good. This team is that good
with
offensively.
The Tyler Ennis.
And the way this team is lining up to the top 6, even the top 8, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible the way this team's depth shakes out.
Okay, yeah, right, exactly. Now, question for you. Who out of the players that made the team didn't really impress you at all? Janssen didn't impress me.
No, him and Kapanen didn't really show me
Kapanen more because he's just so speedy and he scored that shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
He smartened up during the last couple games of the season.
But if you're talking overall, it's those two guys.
I would say more Janssen. I didn't see him at all.
Yeah, no, I agreed. He wasn't really anywhere to be found.
Kapanen, there were spurts where you said, "Oh, geez, look at Kasperi Kapanen go, man," because that guy can skate. But with Janssen, he didn't really look like he stood out at all. He wasn't fast. Obviously, he's not really a physical guy. But didn't see a lot of him. Didn't see a lot of him.
Crazy thing, I want to flip to. Well, you were talking about specific players. Mitch Marner.
Oh yeah, you want to get into that?
This penalty kill.
Oh, I thought you
might score a lot of goals.
I thought you were being completely with the contract situation because
there's more talks about him too getting a deal.
That's what I thought you were going with. No, but this power play,
the power play's nuts.
It's nasty. So let me just talk about the first unit power play.
Oh
for
God,
you.
Here we go. I need to get a drink after this. This is ridiculous. A lot of teams are going to need drinks after this.
Oh yeah.
After facing this lineup, my God.
So first you got Kadri down the middle.
All right, so that's all right. That's okay.
All right, so you got Austin Matthews.
Oh, that's pretty good, right?
John Tavares.
Oh, hey, I like the sounds of that.
Morgan O'Reilly.
Oh wow, this team is really good.
And Mitch Marner.
This is just unfair.
And then the second power play unit. I mean, just going off the top of your head, you have what?
Patrick Marleau,
Connor Brown, maybe.
Yeah, probably Connor Brown. You probably Jake Gardner on the point.
Johnson.
With Nikita Zaitsev, Andreas Janssen, even Kasperi Kapanen.
Tyler Ennis, we forgot about him.
Yeah, Tyler. My goodness, this team. The depth on this team is freakish.
Right? So, you know what? But again, we can't get too cocky against Montreal. They are still a team.
And they played well against us in the preseason games.
Yeah, well, it was preseason.
The Leafs didn't play well in the preseason game.
And they had the Marlies against them.
Preseason.
And they had the Marlies against.
Exactly. Even in the win, though, the Leafs didn't play all that great, but it's preseason. That's what happens.
Right. So we're excited. And you Leaf fans, hopefully you're excited.
Hey, let me just have a moment here. I'm going to have a moment with
here we go.
Kyle Dubas and William Nylander, okay? Dear Kyle Dubas, let's get Nylander signed before the December 1st deadline. I don't care what it takes. Okay. Let's get this deal done. Dear William Nylander, stop being so damn cocky. I don't know if that's him, his dad, his agent, what?
And win a Stanley Cup and take a pay cut.
Because that's what
good teams do.
Yeah, that's what good teams do and good teammates do.
That's what the Chicago Blackhawks have been doing for so long when they were bad. That's what the Pittsburgh Penguins have been doing for so long, taking pay cuts. How much is Gino making? 9?
Something like that.
Could be
for
making
a guy like that?
He's better than John Tavares. And yes, Gino Malkin is better than John Tavares.
Yeah, and he's making less. $2 million less. Incredible.
Yeah, but I mean, the cap is going up.
Yeah, so that's why you want to kind of get these guys on lower contracts, so then when the cap continues to go up, it just looks even more beautiful.
Yeah, just thinking if there's anything else before we switch over to
baseball.
Look
at the news before we miss any more John Carlson or Eric Carlson trades.
Eric Carlson,
because I don't really want to miss anything like that, like we did last week. Yeah. I can't believe we missed that.
We missed that twice, didn't we?
No,
podcasts?
It was just the once. It was just the one. Dustin Brown out indefinitely with broken finger.
That sucks for you fantasy owners of Dustin Brown and Corey Perry.
Yeah, Corey Perry's a tough one for loss. Right, so they're not moving Sebastian Aho. There's really nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Philip Zadina got sent to the AHL.
Surprised about that.
So he's not going to be playing with the.
I guess he didn't have a good camp though.
Right, but that's your future. You want to play him.
Well,
but
AHL is probably the right thing for him at this point of his career.
And Brady Tkachuk did crack the Senators.
Oh my God!
And obviously Kotkaniemi did as well.
Yeah, with Kotkaniemi, it looks like he's going to be a really good player, but with Brady, but with the Senators team, do you really want a young guy to realize that losing, like he's going to be losing a lot with the Senators team? You really want him to be there?
Not even just the Ottawa Senators, the Belleville Senators too.
So I guess it's screwed either way he goes. If he gets sent down, he's going to be losing. If he
Pretty
gets sent up,
I'm actually curious though. I haven't heard diddly squat about Rasmus Dahlin. I haven't heard anything about him. Okay, he had 2 points against the Islanders and assist against Columbus, and then
he's going to be a franchise defenseman, and I'm going to hate to play against him because we don't like Buffalo. Who'd you consider the bigger rival, Buffalo or Montreal?
From the past history, Montreal, but from the actual team and then the distance and that kind of stuff, it's Buffalo. But I feel
like Buffalo, like every time we face them, there's just a fight. With Montreal, not really many fights.
I miss those days though, with Colton Orr and Fraser McLaren against George Peros and like guys like that. I mean, those were the days, man.
Well, I mean, you got.
Then again, those were the days when the team was the Leafs were terrible and the Habs were pretty good.
Remember that 5-1 Womping?
5-1 Womping when Fraser McLaren one-punched a guy and then ragdolled, I think it was Brian Giunta, and started laughing at him the entire time. That was a fun game to watch.
And then you have the Buffalo Sabres, so you got Rasmus Ristolainen, who always chirps with Kadri.
Yeah, that's always a fun matchup right there. Right. That is always a fun little, I guess...
matchup. Yeah, exactly. I just took the words right out of your mouth. So, I guess rolling on to the Jays, the season has come and gone for the Toronto Blue Jays, and we lost the last game of the season. That just sums up the whole season.
You lost to the Tampa Bay Rays. Does that sum it up right there or what? But the season is over. 162 games, gone. It's done.
So let's just get into this quickly. John Gibbons is obviously not coming back next year.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, we all kind of had the feeling that it was going to happen and all that kind of stuff, and we all kind of had a feeling he wasn't going to be back as manager this upcoming or next year, and it's happened. Right. John Gibbons will not be the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays next year.
I wonder who's going to be the next one, because you talked about somebody as an in-house promotion.
Dan Schneider or Don Schneider, the Double-A coach with New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Yeah, he was the coach of the Dunedin Blue Jays when they won the championship last year, and then he was the coach of the New Hampshire Fisher Cats this year, and they won the championship this year. So, I mean, he knows how to win.
Yeah. Exactly. And the fact is about the Blue Jays is that going forward, we have... Are you okay?
Yeah, just getting a little dizzy over here.
Oh, well, take a drink of water. But anyways, guys, with the Blue Jays, you have to realize that the season has come and gone, obviously, and this team's moving forward to be hopefully building towards something. Right, we have the prospects in
Vladdy, Bo, Rowdy Tellez. You can name a lot of the young guys who have had very promising young seasons with the Jays and with their AAA and AA teams.
And not a surprising season. We kind of expected this to happen, yet we didn't come last in the old division.
Let's talk about this for a second. I want to talk about something. So, for all the Jays or not so big baseball fans out there that aren't really stats guys and everything, let's talk about numbers. So first things first, you have 5 starters in a rotation, right?
Right.
Okay, any good ERA is, in the 3s, and early 4s are serviceable.
Correct.
So the 5 starters for the Blue Jays going into the year: Stroman, Sanchez, Estrada, Happ, and Jaime Garcia. Those were the 5 guys going into the season as your starters. And let's run through those 5 starters.
Let's go.
Well, first off, Jay Happ traded to the New York Yankees because this team's not good. He was the only guy that was pretty good for this team.
And could come back.
Could come back still. Yeah, Jaime Garcia, he got DFA'd. He got released. That's it. Gone. He was terrible.
And he wasn't, like you said.
So there's 2 of the 5 right there.
Right.
Marco Estrada, he ends the year, what's his record here? 7-14 with a 5.64 ERA.
He's done.
Yeah. I mean, his contract's up, so he's going to be gone next year. But like I said, anything in the 3 to early 4 range is a pretty good ERA. 5.64 is terrible.
Right.
So there's 3 of your 5 starters. And now let's go to your 2 young-ish pitchers.
Okay, so that being said, are you looking for an in-house to somebody to come up that can replace these guys that aren't coming back, or a free agent signing? That's tough, because I don't think anybody that's in AAA, AA.
I don't think there's any pitchers right down there right now that is ready to go.
But we have to see the free agent class, which will be a whole nother podcast. That's going to... I think, because when is free agency?
Well, we'll be talking playoffs for quite a while.
Playoffs.
We weren't worried about that.
Right.
We're talking about that in November.
Right, so the playoff matchups are set, so I guess we can talk about that later on then.
Yeah. I don't know if they're 100% set, but they're for the most part.
Okay.
But I'm going to keep going here. Aaron Sanchez, ERA, where is it here? 4.89. Like I said, early 4s is good, so that's not good. 4.89, 4-6 record. And for a guy who's pitching the entire season, He pitched 200 innings. R.A. Dickey always pitched 200 innings for the Jays. Same with Mark Burley, guys like that. Sanchez, 105. Pitched half a year, basically.
Was he hurt?
Yeah, of course he was.
So
half a year. Marcus Stroman, your other ace of your staff, if you want to call it. How many innings did he throw? 102. Half a year.
This was his worst season of his career.
Health-wise, so bottom line, the Jays did not have a single starter under the ERA of 4.
He was fairly healthy though, wasn't he, Stroman? I mean, he had one.
For the most part, he was all right, but then he had like a couple big injuries.
So it was just poor play.
It was poor play, and he was injured quite a bit as well.
Right.
So when you only pitch half a year, it's like you had 2 pitchers pitched half a year. One guy who pitched the entire season was terrible, and Marco Estrada. You DFA'd one, and then you traded J. Happ. Terrible.
Right.
We talked about it. We talked about it in spring training. We're like, if this team could stay healthy and good, like we know they can. They could possibly make a wild card spot.
Not healthy.
The rotation was not healthy, and they were terrible.
Right.
I
mean, like that just sums it up yourself because, like you said before, if they were all healthy, I mean that's the thing though. If Marcus Stroman was healthy for the entire year, do you really think he would have a good year? I don't know.
No. I wasn't just saying healthy. I was saying healthy and good, like we know they can be.
Well. Yeah, right.
That's why it was a stretch saying a wild card team because
not all of that goes. But you're not expecting Estrada to be like he was before because the age is getting up there. I think it was just more Sanchez and Stroman. We know how good they can be. Listen, Marco Estrada, we know how good he can be, but he's never gonna perform like that because he's old. He's 35 years of age.
Yeah.
But with Stroman, he's young. He can bounce back. Obviously, didn't do it this season, and he didn't live up to expectations at all.
Right, and obviously this year had a lot of weird feelings in it. Obviously with the fact of Josh Donaldson getting traded and a lot of people upset about the return and the way this whole situation went down. Obviously,
Osuna too.
Roberto Osuna, exactly. That whole thing.
Yeah, do you want to mention that? He was not charged for
guilty. They came to a peace bond, so nothing is going to happen to Roberto Osuna.
So it looks like the Astros
tells me that something actually happened.
Well, something obviously happened, but
so people can say, "Oh, so he's innocent." So so the Jays traded him for nothing. No, they just settled to not charge anything.
Well, Giles has been pretty good. If
he's been very good.
If you want to,
he was perfect in saves for the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's the thing. Osuna is good for the Astros, but with that being said, we didn't know at that point if he was guilty or not. So we had to have moved him, even if he wasn't guilty.
The way I said it in my in one of my videos was, think about it this way: the MLB as an organization has the insides to everything. They probably had the video. They probably had everything.
Yeah.
They gave him the 3rd longest suspension in MLB history.
Which was, 50 games?
75 games.
75 games.
The 3rd longest in MLB history.
You have to realize this is worse than a drug charge.
Right.
This is domestic violence, so exactly. I can see why they did it. Are you arguing against the fact that this is the 3rd longest suspension?
No, I'm saying I'm people saying that he's innocent. That's what I'm arguing about. The MLB had the insight and they gave him that 75 suspension, the 3rd longest, so they must have had reason to do so.
Right. I mean, obviously something did happen for him to be accused of it. Listen, right? So if that was, maybe
but the fact that the MLB gave him their 3rd biggest suspension, there must have been a significant amount of evidence and reason.
Well, like
to give
I
him
said,
that.
he was accused of it, so he did something, but it wasn't. There was no jail time involved for it. Listen, maybe he put his hands on her to a certain extent, but there was no jail time to support that. He probably did something because he got that 75 games suspension and he got accused of it, but at the end of the day, he was proved quote-unquote innocent.
He wasn't proved anything. They just came to a peace bond, like, whatever, we're not going to charge anything, we're just...
Oh, okay, so he wasn't even... Okay.
No, peace bond is considered with some restrictions, obviously. I don't know the 100%. I think it's like something he can't see his girlfriend, can't see his kid, or something along those lines. Can't get into a specific amount of space as them, like... That's what he can't do, and that's
so
it.
There's no. Okay.
She just didn't want to. They just.
There's no hard evidence.
There probably was, but they came to the peace bond of the fact of whatever. We're not gonna charge him. Fine, we'll just drop the charges. Whatever.
The family
and kind of move on.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, they could have probably kept going, and would they have got him done? Well, we're never gonna know, but. It sounds like there was something, and they just said, "You know what? We're done. We've moved on. It's been months and months and months. Whatever."
Listen, I'm no lawyer, but they're always gonna go towards the victim rather than the actual person that did it.
And the fact that the victim backed off.
Right. So if they kept fighting this, I guarantee you that something would have happened to Osuna.
But the fact that they just stopped and they're like, whatever, I'm tired
that
of the
kind of
drama,
hurts
I'm
us
tired
Jays
of the
fans.
bull. Of course it does. Yeah. But it's done. It's over. We can stop talking about it.
And us Jays fans have to realize that we got something back for him, and that player we got back for him is doing pretty well. So let's just end it there. It sucks he's gone. It sucks that he's doing well with the Astros, but we got something back for him.
You expect him to suck with the Astros? Not really. He's a great player.
Well,
he's going to succeed.
His first couple of games, maybe, yeah, but other than that, no.
Right, and I think with Jays fans, that what they got to realize is that this team is in a transition stage of you need to play younger players. That's what this is going to be from now on.
Oh, for sure.
And let's run through the young guys real quick, the ones that impressed. Brian Brockie, look, he's going to be on this team next year.
Yeah.
3.87 ERA and almost 100 innings. He almost has pitched as much as Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez.
As a rookie.
And he only played 17 games.
No.
Tells you right there how
not
little
to put
those
a
guys
Baron
played.
on this, but I don't want Jays fans to overhype him next season.
No, I know we're
he's going to have hard stints with us. 100%.
Yep.
Because he's young.
Just how he gets out of them.
And he's bound to, fall back a little bit. Yeah. So I don't want us Jays fans to overhype.
But if you're looking at the rotation, as a healthy rotation, you got Stroman, Sanchez, and you have Ryan Brockie. Those are your three guys.
And maybe a free agent signing.
And then you kind of go from there for your 4 and 5s.
Right.
Any other young guys out here? Tim Meza, he'll be my lefty next year. If he's not, I'm going to lose my flipping mind. He has been stellar in the second half for the Toronto Blue Jays as a lefty. He'll replace Aaron Loop in my eyes. We talked about it in preseason. I wanted Meza to pitch over Loop, and he did not, and Loop was terrible. Then they traded him at the deadline, and now Meza's up here tearing it apart as a lefty. He should be my guy next year.
Right.
Thomas Pannone, obviously one of the bigger names for this team heading into next year as well. He'll probably stay in Buffalo. David Paulino, he was acquired.
That's the guy we got back from Osuna, right?
And he pitched 6 2/3 of 1.35 ERA. So in very limited time, he did
was
very
hurt.
well. Yeah, he was hurt for most of the year, and he got called up, and in very limited time did very well. Sean Reid-Foley, he's got to find a way to find the strike zone consistently as a young pitcher. Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of young guys that this team has to
Especially with
continue
the
to grow. And I think the next year is going to be a really fun one because there's a lot of questions moving forward. Who's going to be your manager?
Yeah.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. next year.
Yeah.
And these young players that you've seen good things from, Rowdy Tellez, Ryan Baraki, guys like that, how will they do in a full 162-game schedule?
Now listen, this
or if they'll play. Sorry.
Okay. Now listen, this team is going to be definitely more fun to watch. They could be worse than this year.
Yeah.
But they're definitely going to be more fun to watch. And I think that's going to be proven because they're going to be younger. They're going to have more firepower. You could see a Jays team be worse off next season.
Right.
But listen, Jays fans, I'm not saying that it's going to be worse. It's worse in a good way, if you want to put it. All these rookies have not seen the major leagues.
Right.
Well, half of them.
Most of them haven't.
So this is a stepping stone. And with that being said, you have to give these guys a shot, and they're bound to succeed at one point or another. But when they first get called up, they're bound to. They're more likely to fail than succeed. That's what I'm trying to say here. They're going to be more fun to watch next year than these current old Blue Jays.
To sum it all up, there's going to be growing pains.
Yeah, but we're just excited that we have actual prospects.
Right, and it's exciting. It's finally exciting to look at the future for Blue Jays baseball.
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're almost there. We're almost there, and it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward.
Exactly. So, guys, we're going to be talking about. Actually, do you want to quickly talk about fantasy? Fantasy is starting Wednesday, and yes.
Oh, the hockey fantasy is starting on Wednesday. Yes. I can't wait. Anybody who's playing, get your teams ready and set up.
Let's get some trades going too.
Oh my God,
I need some goal scoring.
Yeah, you damn well do. Trying to trade Brock Besser and me.
Oh, you keep doing that. All right, so I guess you got the questions this week.
Yeah, I'll do the podcast questions this time. We're gonna start with Evan Stack. What is the bullpen situation going to look like next year? A lot of inconsistent arms this year. DePera, Biagini, Petrichka. I'd like to bring back O and somehow keep Clippard and Giles. Giles will be back because he has options.
I don't think
so
O's
he'll be fine. Back. O was traded at the deadline, so he's on Colorado right now.
No, but I mean,
will they bring him back? I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Tyler Clippard, again, a veteran guy, probably he's gonna want to go and win somewhere. And Ryan Tepera, as much as we chirp him for not having a consistent year, he pitched almost 70 innings and had a very respectable ERA.
Comparing him to, though?
Well, no, I'm saying if you're looking at stats, people don't like him because he blew some games. Well,
Yeah.
he was not as good as a closer, so they took him out
Better
of that
than Joe
role.
BG.
Right, Biagini was terrible. Petrichka was terrible. I agree.
Yeah.
Those guys should go. But I think it's going to be a lot of in-house names. I think a guy like David Paulino from the Astros in that trade for Osuna. I think he's going to be a piece next year.
How about Forrest Wall? Or is he a starter?
He's an outfielder.
Oh, he's an outfielder.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
he was in the Sungwon O trade over to Colorado. But I think it's gonna be a lot of in-house names and a lot of one-year deals, like what you saw from Tyler Clippard, John Axe for Sungwon. A lot of 1 years at small money.
Because we're not at that stage where we can sign guys for long term. Like Morales, we signed him for what, 3 years.
3 years. So
and
next
then
year's
look what
last.
happened.
Yeah.
So
I just don't see this team going after a big bullpen guy right now. You don't really need to. No. Patrick Williams, who wins a fight between 2 Blue Jays and 1 average-sized cow? Crow. Holy smokes, I thought it said cow at first. That would have been quite the interesting
if
fight.
it was a cat. A crow's pretty vicious. I've seen a couple on my street.
Depending on the Blue Jays. See, if it's K-Money, Kendrick Morales, he might eat the damn thing.
So K-Money, so let's just say it's K-Money and Rowdy Tellez. They would have that for dinner.
I think, they would have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Actually, no, that would probably just be a snack. Yeah. But I mean, for those huge guys. But depending on who the Blue Jays were, if it was a scrawny guy like a Danny Jansen and a Ryan Baraki, the Crow might beat them.
I'm going with the Crow.
Yeah, I think I'd go with the Crow if it was those guys. Chatterbox Reviews. Now with the news about Osuna's case and him not being charged, do you think the Jays should regret their situation? No.
A little bit.
No.
No, you don't think so?
The way that was all going, look, he hasn't been proved innocent. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but clearly he wasn't proved guilty. He was not proved innocent
So
either.
something did happen.
They kind of just said, okay, whatever, we'll just kind of drop it, peace bond, okay, cool, we're done. So, do I think it was the wrong decision? Nah. They had to move on from it. That might have hurt the locker room a little bit, bringing him back into this team.
I agree with that.
So I don't think you need to do that.
I agree with that.
Aiden Foley, do you think St. John's, Newfoundland should get a AA or AAA team?
But that's the thing. For what other major league team? Like,
yeah, other than the Blue Jays, really, who would you go for?
Well,
and that's a very far. See, it's so far away from every other.
Maybe like
team,
the New York Mets.
But that's still so far for your AA and AAA teams.
I'm just thinking it's not that far. It's on the East Coast.
There's no minor league teams in Canada
at all.
Like no AAAs and AAs. I know there's I know Vancouver Canadians obviously, but
listen, if you East Coasters like baseball, I mean possibly, but the only really team I can see is maybe Boston because that's close to Maine and Maine's close to Newfoundland.
That side area,
right?
Area. I don't think they would,
but
it's hard
be
to
always
say.
nice to see baseball in Canada.
I think more or less you'd see Alberta, you'd see Winnipeg, you'd see those cities probably over St. John's in my eyes.
St. John's, it's just
not
a population.
saying St. John's is a bad place, but I'm just saying if you're looking at a Canadian side, if you go to the United States and ask somebody, if you ask somebody about a city in Canada, do you think
first of all they would say, "Wait, where is that?"
Yeah,
Newfoundland, right?
First off, they'd say that, but I don't know if St. John's, Newfoundland would get a team. If they do, good for them, but I don't really see it happening.
No, I don't see it happening.
That's my opinion. Aiden Foley again. What outfielders will the Jays keep? Well, you know what? Let me just go to the outfielders real quick, and I'll say yes or no as we go. All right. I actually quite liked the outfielders for the Jays this year. I thought they were very, very respectable this year. Anthony Alford, yes, young guy. Jonathan Davis, yes. Grichuk, yes. Hernandez, yes. McKinney, yes. Pilar, no.
You don't think Kevin Pilar?
You got to trade a guy at his peak. I'm tired of seeing these guys get into contract years and then trading them for nothing. I'm so tired of it.
But did he really have that good of a year for you to trade him for?
He hit
a
250.
big piece?
He had 15 home runs, 40 doubles. He scored 65 runs, did he score today? Yeah, he scored 65 runs.
But we need veteran leadership on this team. We need veteran leadership on this team. That's the thing, especially with all the young outfielders.
You do, but I don't really. It's so. I don't know. If you're going to trade anybody, it's probably Kevin Pilar and Dwight Smith Jr. Yes, as well. So those are really the outfielders for the Jays, and most of them are yeses because most of the guys I just read are younger guys.
Oh, okay.
Who do we got here? Starting 5 for the Raptors. Oh, this is a tough one. This can go so many different ways.
JV, Serge, Leonard,
Green.
I'd say OG over Green.
Really?
OG, Lowry. My opinion.
I'd switch OG for Danny Green to start the season. I'd test it out.
Just with the chemistry, I guess, just with the chemistry between Leonard and
having the bench
Green.
mob with their younger players, bringing OG into that mix.
But OG needs the time, man. OG needs the minutes.
I don't know. I think
opinion.
that's the only spot that we could argue on for hours, but that's really that. Brooke, what's your starting rotation going into 2019? I think I already talked about 3 of them. Stroman, Sanchez, and Baraki. And I think the other 2 are kind of up in the air. It could be Pannone, could be Sean Reid-Foley, but it could be preseason. Or
a free agent.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts for that. Stephen W., if the Raptors are not looking good, not the playoffs 6th, 7th, or 8th of the conference midway through the season, coming to the trade deadline, do you think they should trade Kawhi Leonard? What do you think they will get back?
Absolutely.
First off, I think they should if they're at that stage, but I don't think they will be at that stage. I don't think.
Okay, well, let's just say that they are at that stage. Yes, I would trade Kawhi Leonard no matter what.
Well, if they're in that stage, yes.
Actually, if they're in
6th, 7th, 8th, or non-playoffs.
Yeah, I would trade him. Now, I don't know what we can get back for him. It all depends what offers there are at the table. Maybe, I don't know about a roster player, maybe a really star young guy. Yeah. That's the only I can see. Because listen, if we can't win with Kawhi Leonard, we have to go on a rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's about it there.
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
To mix things up, what is your most wanted city/country to travel to and why? You go first.
That's a good question. Yeah.
You have not been to.
Yeah, because you don't know and you have to think about it. That's why you're asking me.
I know where I gotta go.
Okay, well, go ahead. Because I don't
know. Well, I've always wanted to visit Los Angeles or Australia. Like those couple places, and obviously somewhere tropical, down in the Bahamas or Botswana and all those crazy places. I've always wanted to go there.
For me, it'd probably be Japan. I always kind of like Japan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the culture and everything being I don't know, kind of compact and kind of small and all that. I'd like to see Japan, Australia also too. For a city, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil would obviously be nice. Maybe Egypt. Just some.
Egypt would be quite the interesting one.
Well, Egypt isn't a city. I don't know why I said that. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, I think that, the beaches apparently are always nice down there. But Rio de Janeiro and Japan for me.
It's crazy, actually. Japan, one of my friends at work, he's gone to Japan a few times, and he says...
He's Japanese, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's Caucasian, if you want to go really specific there.
He's white, yeah.
He says everybody's really nice there. Everyone's really respectful, and everything's so good there. It's really, really interesting. It'd be an interesting place to go. That's your place. I already said mine. We're good to go. Thank you, Stephen W. Reactions to the media day for Toronto Raptors. Thoughts? So we already talked about that. Thoughts on who will trade Jimmy Butler. Also thoughts on Stephen A. Smith and the Lakers making the Western Conference
We didn't even talk
Finals.
about Jimmy Butler at all.
I think we might have talked about that in the last one. How we don't think they should move.
Well,
for him.
He says that he's willing to sign long. No. It was the Rockets. It was the Rockets who came out as favorites to trade for him. And it said that Stephen A. Smith, the Lakers, making the
Western Conference Finals. You're telling me that team is better than the Houston Rockets? Or the Golden State Warriors, because they might have to play one of them in that depending where they sit.
It all depends where they sit. That's the thing. Listen, I feel like if
he's saying they are going to make as Stephen W. is saying, they will on making the Western Conference Finals.
I've said this since day one. If neither team had the king, the Cavs or the Lakers are a better team. Those young pieces they have, man, I'm telling you. So you add LeBron James to those young core, they can make it to the... Again, it's all who they face. Yeah. If they face the Warriors in the second round, I don't think they're going to pass the Warriors at all.
Now it depends. If the Warriors end up playing the Rockets in one of the conference finals...
LA has an easy trip then to the Western Conference Finals.
It does. That's only if they make it, depending if there's any surprise teams.
But let's just say if the Lakers don't face either the Rockets or the Warriors, I think they can.
I think they could do it.
I think they could beat the Rockets.
I'm done trying to count out LeBron James. I'm done trying to do that.
I think they can beat the Rockets.
I think so. LeBron James is a freak. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
Roderick, what's up, man? With the Leafs and Raptors playing their regular season at the same time as each other, what do you do to follow both teams at once, especially when they're playing on the same day? I try my best to either flip back and forth, or if the Raptors are playing on TSN2, I try to stream it on my computer as well because I don't get TSN2. So that's how I try and do that.
I think he means that if you miss a game.
Well, he's saying when they're playing at the same time.
Oh, same time. You usually stream it on one and then the other.
Yeah, I try to keep it on the TV unless they're both on TV that I can watch. I try and flip back and forth as fast as I can. My parents hate me for it, but hey, it's the way she goes. All right,
you gotta get that grind. And
so the anonymous,
Mr. Anonymous is back.
I mean, this guy's back here. He's anonymous like he wants to be. What would you trade for Butler, and where do you think he ends up going?
Okay, Jimmy Butler. So we received Jimmy Butler, and I'm gonna say Jeff Teague.
Wow, that's a big one.
That is a big one. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But we're going to have to give up Lowry, OG, and a first.
For 1 year of Jimmy Butler and
Listen, it's Jimmy Butler, man.
You didn't have to give up OG for Kawhi Leonard.
No, but with Kawhi Leonard, you have to give up DeMar.
Right, but Jimmy Butler is not even close to Kawhi Leonard's.
He's close.
Stature.
Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler is top 15 player in the league.
He's a good scorer. What else?
He's a top 15 player in the league. I get he doesn't have the two-way caliber as Kawhi. He's a great player. Listen, the T-Wolves are going to want, like I said, I didn't want it to happen, but that's the only scenario I can see. And listen, Jeff Teague's no scrub.
That's why it's not going to happen.
No.
That's why
I know it's not going to happen, but that's the only reason. I can see both teams. Listen, I know Jeff Teague isn't no Kyle Lowry, but listen, you're going to have to give up something to get Jimmy Butler, a multiple-time All-Star.
Yeah, you might have to.
So, how about you?
Oh, my God. I think a guy like DeLon Wright would be movable at that point. Okay. As much as I wouldn't want to, you still have Lowry and you still have Fred VanVleet at the point. Yeah. You would definitely have to give up that first-round pick because they would want that pick for sure.
And they would want a roster player.
Well, DeLon Wright's a roster player.
Established one. That's the thing.
I don't know. You could see a JV. And I don't know if they'd want him. Again, that probably wouldn't even be enough.
And then you have Greg Monroe, your starting center. So we don't know.
Exactly. Or you could have Serge Ibaka at the 5 and Siakam at the 4. But you're in a really tough situation if you try and move for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that's why me and you don't think it's going to happen. No. We would love it, but I don't
know. Anonymous guy once again. Should the Raptors trade for Butler? You already talked about this. I think they should trade Miles, Ibaka, Powell, and Wright for Butler and Lul Deng, my boy. I think it will get it done. So Miles, he's a very streaky 3-point guy. He doesn't get over.
Serge Ibaka is a salary dump,
right? And Powell had a terrible year last year, and you're banking on him to rebound on a terrible contract. And DeLon Wright, he's 25, 26. That he could start possibly. No, that's not even close to being that.
No, I mean
Butler and Lul Deng. No,
listen, that's 3 maybes and 1 bad contract.
Yeah. No thanks.
And 1 streaky shooter.
What's the one area for the Jays that needs to improve this offseason? Bullpen, starting pitching, etc. Also, if it gets into November and Nylander hasn't signed him yet, you think about trading him.
Who is this?
This is Michael. So, first off, with the question about the Jays, where they should improve, I don't think this team is looking to quote unquote improve this year. They're not going to go out and sign the biggest free agent out there. They're not going to do that. No. They're going to do what they did this year.
In-house,
and let their prospects build. Let them make the team and sign a few veteran guys like a Granderson, like a Sungwon Oh, Clipper, John Axford, all those 1-year deals. That's what it's going to be again next year, guys. It's going to be hard, but we're going to see a lot of the younger players, and who knows, they might take off. And who knows, we might have a year like the Atlanta Braves and win their division. I doubt it, but you never really know. And as for the Nylander contract, I don't think it'll get into November. If that's the case, then
you should be looking about trading.
You might really consider some of the offers. I don't know if you actually trade him, but you might really consider the offers.
I actually saw about if he doesn't play by, I think it's either November or December 1st, he can't even play for the rest of the season.
December 1st he can't.
He can't play for the rest of the season. So, that being said, if it gets to November, late November, I don't think even any team's going to want him at that point. I mean,
unless the team's got a contract ready for him, then you do it. But otherwise, I don't know.
So there you go. That wraps up episode 30, guys. Thank you every single week and again, sorry for the long wait. Me and James are all over the place with everything.
It's busy schedule, but we got it out to you guys on Sunday. It's a good time. We're good.
You sure it's a good time after football, Sunday Night Football?
Let's not talk about this, all right, please. Let's not talk about this. Anyway, so we really appreciate you guys' support every single week, every single podcast. Episode 30, we have done it.
When is next week's podcast?
It'll probably be on Thursday, regular time. That cool?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Right
Thursday.
This is what we do live on the podcast. You get to hear
I'm thinking about it, and it's like maybe, yeah. I'm busy then, actually.
Tough shit. You got to get it done, bud.
Yeah, got to get
it done.
I thought this podcast was PG.
I mean, we got to get the podcast done sometime. But Thursday afternoon will probably be the podcast time, all right? So, guys, thank you guys so much for all your support throughout all the weeks. 30 podcast episodes. It has been a ride. That is for darn sure. We can't wait to talk to you guys next week. And hoping, for goodness sakes, William Nylander has a contract. But we're going to have to wait and see. I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Jays Edition as they played their game today and lost.
In Tropicana Field.
And lost. But we'll talk about that later on. And we'll talk about Raptors, Leafs, all that stuff in the coming days and all that stuff. And Evan and I will talk to you guys
next Thursday.
Thursday afternoon.
Or this Thursday.
as the Leafs season and Raptors season. Well, the Leafs season will be underway, and the Raptors preseason will be continuing. And we hope for some more great things to talk about.
And hopefully the Leafs win.
Of course. Honestly,
and hopefully
Leafs
Will
victory.
Nylander contract, maybe talk. Hopefully it's good talk.
That'll be the day after the home opener. So that'll be very interesting to talk about the Leafs. All right, so we really appreciate your guys' support. And Evan and I will talk to you guys then.
Peace.